This is an iHeart podcast.
You know who it is, Brandon Kyle Goodman. But this Pride Month, call me Messy Mother. On my podcast, Tell Me Something Messy, I'm diving into all the juicy stories and sizzling hot tea that'll make you want to live your life liberated and free. Nothing is off the table for our messy kikis. Plus, I'll be joined by star-studded guests like T.S. Madison and dragging messy stories out of guests like the one and only Katya. Ooh, I can't wait to get messy with you. Listen to Tell Me Something Messy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Show me how good it can get today, God, and show the rest of the world what we already know. It can't get no better than being hella black, hella queer, and hella Christian. My name is Joseph Reeves. I am the creator and host of Hella Black, Hella Queer, Hella Christian, a fully black, fully queer, fully human, fully divine podcast from iHeartMedia. To Hella Black, Hella Queer, Hella Christian on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi guys, I'm Andrea Gunning, host of Betrayal. I'm excited to bring you all Season 4, a story of a cop and his double life. I wanted to let you know that you can get access to all episodes of Betrayal Season 1, 2, 3, and Betrayal Weekly, and every single episode of Betrayal Season 4 ad-free with an iHeart True Crime Plus subscription. Available exclusively on Apple Podcasts. Plus, you'll get access to all episodes of Betrayal Season 4 1 week ahead of everyone else. Available only to iHeart True Crime Plus subscribers. So don't wait. Head to Apple Podcasts, search for iHeart True Crime Plus, and subscribe today.
I think everything that might have dropped in 95 has been labeled the golden years of hip-hop.
It's Black Music Month, and We Need to Talk is tapping in. I'm Nyla Simone, breaking down lyrics, amplifying voices, and digging into the culture that shaped the soundtrack of our lives.
Like, that's what's really important, and that's what stands out, is that our music changes people's lives for the better.
Let's talk about the music that moves us. To hear this and more on how music and culture collide, listen to We Need to Talk from the Black Effect Podcast Network on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you've ever wondered what diseases, medieval pee tests, and cocktails have in common, you're in the right place.
On our show, This Podcast Will Kill You, we explore the wild world of diseases, their history, biology, and impact today. Vaccines are in part a victim of their own success. They have been so effective in preventing disease and death that we take them for granted.
Mm-hmm. New episodes drop every Tuesday on the Exactly Right Network.
Listen to This Podcast Will Kill You on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It is time now for today's Strawberry Letter. And if you need advice on relationships, work, dating, sex, parenting, and more, please submit your Strawberry Letter to SteveHarveyFM.com and click Submit Strawberry Letter. We could be reading your letter live on the air, just like we're going to read this one right here, right now, and you never know, it could be yours.
It could be yours. Buckle up and hold on tight. We got it for you.
Oh, man, will you come?
Here it is. Strawberry.
You are so sexy,
ladies,
Tommy. You are so
ladies.
sexy. Subject. Thank you, Nev. Subject. I slipped up and went back for more. Dear Stephen Shirley.
Excuse me, Shirley. It slipped up.
Yes.
I slipped up and went back for seconds. That's what's on the paper.
I have asked you, sir, to change it to more. All right. Dear Stephen Shirley, I'm married to a great man that looked good and had everything going for him except in the bedroom. I told myself that sex wasn't everything, and I managed to make it for 3 years without cheating. Up until our wedding, I was sleeping with my daughter's father. Because we already had history, I was comfortable with him. Some would say too comfortable because we were not using protection. My husband and I had sex maybe once a week, and that was all for him because he's on the smaller side. I was sleeping with my ex at least 3 times a week, and then we had a pregnancy scare, and it scared me half to death. I was not going to risk the good life over great sex. My ex got married last year, so we'd see each other to pick up only to pick up and drop off our daughter. That all changed 2 days ago. I went to pick up my daughter, and my ex said his wife is out of town, and he wanted to show me how they painted my daughter's room. My daughter was watching TV in the family room. That man did not take me to our daughter's bedroom. He took me to this huge storage area by his bedroom, and he locked the door. My husband called at the very moment, and I told him I had something to do first, and I'd be home soon. I had to have sex real quick. That's what I had to do. It was so good. I got myself together and my daughter and I left. On the way home, my daughter asked why we were locked in the closet. I tried to convince her that she was mistaken. She is a very outspoken 8-year-old, so I'm sure she'll ask again. What do I tell my child? And what if she asks me in front of my husband? Wow, what a conundrum you're in. I'm sorry you didn't ask us before you went over to your ex's house and had sex and got locked in the storage room with him. You're really gambling with what you've described as your good life for sex. First, the no protection sex, which led to a pregnancy scare, and then your 8-year-old daughter asking questions, as kids do when they see things or hear things. So as I see it, the problem is you. You're reckless. You're selfish. You didn't care about your husband, what he was going to say. What you want from him is the lifestyle he provides for you, as you call it, the good life. You said your husband is a good man, so why would you risk it over someone who clearly only wants you for sex now? Your daughter is not mentioning it is a chance. That's a chance you're going to have to take. And that might work for you since you're a gambler anyway, or you're going to have to sit her down and ask her not to say anything. Those are your choices. Either you take a chance on her not saying anything, or you sit her down and ask her not to say anything to her stepdad, period. I hope you've learned something from this experience and you're going to stop doing stupid stuff. That's all I have to say to you. Steve?
I don't think she's learned anything, and I'm a little bit confused by the letter, actually. She said she's married to a great man that looked good and had everything going for him except in the bedroom. I told myself sex wasn't everything, and I managed to make it for 3 years without cheating. So now, is she saying that she started to cheating after she got married?
Being married to her husband, yeah.
For 3 years.
She was good for 3 years.
Because what it sounds like, she says, up until our wedding, this is what she says, until our wedding, I was sleeping with my daughter's father.
Then they got married, and then for 3 years, she was all good. Then she started again.
Up until our wedding, I was sleeping with my daughter's father because we already had history. I was comfortable with him. Some would say too comfortable because we were not using protection. My husband and I had sex maybe once a week, and that was all for him because he's on the smaller side.
Yeah. She had a throat.
I was sleeping with my ex 3 times a week. And then we had a little pregnancy scare that scared her, and I wasn't going to risk the good life over great sex. Then her ex got married last year, so only saw each other for pickup and drop off of our daughter. That all changed 2 days ago. She went over to the ex and said his wife was out of town, and he wanted to show me how they painted my daughter's room. My daughter was watching TV in the family room, and that man didn't take me to her daughter's bedroom. He took me to a huge storage area by his bedroom. Now, where is that at?
I don't know.
Where's the huge storage room? Down there by the bedroom. What?
And what's in there?
I haven't had a few houses. What, lady, stop trying to make this like it was some big, huge storage area.
Exactly.
If you got another huge room in your house, why ain't that your master?
Yeah.
Or why ain't that the junior suite? Ain't nobody got no huge extra room in their house. You was in a closet. Let's make this thing as gritty and dirty as it really is.
As it is, yeah.
Huge storage area. What was in the mops, buckets?
I'm saying, what was
That's a closet. Storage. Gowns,
She was trying to make it sound sexy. Hang on, Steve. We'll have part 2 of your response coming up at 23 minutes after. Today's title is I Slipped Up and Went Back for More. Right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Just like great shoes, great books take you places. Through unforgettable love stories and into conversations with characters you'll never forget.
I think any good romance, it gives me this feeling of like butterflies.
I'm Danielle Robay, and this is Bookmarked by Reese's Book Club, the new podcast from Hello Sunshine and iHeart Podcasts. Every week I sit down with your favorite book lovers, authors, celebrities, book talkers, and more to explore the stories that shape us, on the page and off. I've been reading every Reese's Book Club pick, deep diving book talk theories, and obsessing over book-to-screen casts for years. And now I get to talk to the people making the magic. So if you've ever fallen in love with a fictional character, or cried at the last chapter, or passed a book to a friend saying, you have to read this, this podcast is for you. Listen to Bookmarked by Reese's Book Club on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You know who it is, Brandon Kyle Goodman. But this Pride Month, call me Messy Mother. On my podcast, Tell Me Something Messy, I'm diving into all the juicy stories and sizzling hot tea that'll make you want to live your life liberated and free. Nothing is off the table for our messy kikis, be it cringy dates, best sex practices, family drama, or cultivating self-love. Plus, I'll be joined by star-studded guests like T.S. Madison. How can we not judge ourselves?
You just gotta tell yourself, like, girl, how old are you, bitch? And I love me a lot because
you do?
Bitch, I love these motherfucking back rolls. What are they? Back rolls.
Back rolls. And dragging messy stories out of guests like the one and only Katya.
I also got into the habit of wearing butt plugs to the gym.
Tell me about that.
Well, and I also work out with butt plugs in quite a bit because, like,
tell me everything.
Well, it's just first, it feels good.
Yes.
And then second, it's like my little secret.
TMI, please tell me more. Every week we'll create a compassionate space to share the fullness of who we are. Ooh, I can't wait to get messy with you. Listen to Tell Me Something Messy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Show me how good it can get today, God, and show the rest of the world what we already know. It can't get no better than being hella black, hella queer, and hella Christian. My name is Joseph Reeves. I am the creator and host of Hella Black, Hella Queer, Hella Christian, a fully black, fully queer, fully human, fully divine podcast that explores society, culture, and the intersections of faith and identity. Listen to Hella Black, Hella Queer, Hella Christian to hear conversations about what it means to sound the way you look.
I think what I've had to make peace with is that every iteration of my voice is given to me by God, and I love it.
Books that validated our identity.
The library now for me is a safe space as someone who is writing books that they're trying to take off of shelves.
And how we as black queer folks relate to our Christianity. Listen to Hella Black, Hella Queer, Hella Christian on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The American West with Dan Flores is the latest show from the Meat Eater Podcast Network, hosted by me, writer and historian Dan Flores, and brought to you by Velvet Buck. This podcast looks at a West available nowhere else. Each episode, I'll be diving into some of the lesser-known histories of the West. I'll then be joined in conversation by guests such as Western historian Dr. Randall Williams and best-selling author and Meat Eater founder Stephen Ranella.
I'll correct my kids now and then where they'll say when cave people were here. And I'll say, it seems like the Ice Age people that were here didn't have a real affinity for caves. You know?
So join me starting Tuesday, May 6th, where we'll delve into stories of the West and come to understand how it helps inform the ways in which we experience the region today.
Listen to The American West with Dan Flores on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What happens when we come face to face with death?
My truck was blown up by a 20-pound anti-tank mine.
My parachute did not deploy.
I was kidnapped by a drug cartel.
I just remember everything getting dark. I'm dying.
when we step beyond the edge of what we know
To open our consciousness to something more than just what's in that Western box.
and return.
I clinically died. The heart stopped beating, which I was dead for 11.5 minutes.
My name is Dan Bush. My mission is simple: to find, explore, and share these stories.
I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor.
You're strongest when you're the most vulnerable.
To remind us what it means to be alive.
Not just that I was the guy that cut his arm off, but I'm the guy who was smiling when he cut his arm off.
Alive Again, a podcast about the fragility of life, the strength of the human spirit, and what it means to truly live. Listen to Alive Again on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
Hey, look, you can't let the urge to sing your favorite songs while you're driving distract you from that truck drifting toward your lane or that lane-splitting biker creeping up beside you. Fortunately, every Hyundai offers advanced safety features that can alert you to potential dangers around you.
That's right, because Hyundai is always working to ensure the road doesn't get you. Hyundai vehicles have won over 120 IIHS top safety awards from 2006 to 2024 as of December 2024.
All right, come on, Steve. Let's recap today's Strawberry Letter. The subject: I slipped up and went back for more.
Yeah, you did. You got this great guy, good at everything except in the bedroom. But he's a great guy other than that. You was trying to act like sex wasn't that important. And you was doing all, you slept with him up until you got married. But then after you got married, 3 years went by and you was okay. You was sleeping with this dude 3 times a week and your husband once because he's on the smaller side. So that was it for him. And then you said, I'm not going to risk a good life over great sex. Now, your ex got married. So that ended that whole thing. Until recently, all you all saw each other was doing pick-up and drop-off of y'all's daughter. You went over to the house to pick up the daughter one time. He told you that his wife was out of town and wanted to show you how they painted the baby bedroom. That's when he said he took you back to this huge storage area by his bedroom and locked the door. That's a lie. Let's cheapen this thing right on up. Who you know got a house, got a large storage area next to their bedroom. That's a hall closet. That's what that is. It wasn't no huge room and all. Then he locked the door behind you. But then your husband called at that very moment. Hello. I'm be right home quick. Wait, I'll be home. What? I don't know what these people doing out here in this traffic. I'll be home and I'll call you. Let me call you back. I got to just be about to kill. Anyway. So I don't know how you played that off, but that sound like it. I had to have sex real quick. That's what I had to do. And it was so good. I got myself together and my daughter and I left. On the way home, my daughter asked me why we were locked in the closet. That's because your daughter knew what it was.
Yeah, she heard him.
This huge storage room. The daughter said it's a closet. What room down the hallway next to the bedroom? That's a huge extra. Lady, bye. I tried to convince her. My daughter asked why we were locked in the closet. I tried to convince her that she was mistaken. She's a very outspoken 8-year-old, so I'm sure she'll ask again. What do I tell my child? And what if she asks in front of my husband? Well, this is how you handle an 8-year-old.
Okay.
You use something that's important to an 8-year-old and you hang it over their head in the form of a threat.
Okay, like.
Oh, so I see you don't want nothing for Christmas.
Okay.
You're not going to get no birthday gift this year. Now you go in this house running your mouth and asking about it, because I was not in that room. I was in there looking at your bedroom. And we came right out. You was watching TV. That's why I got you and we came home.
Well, what were those noises I heard, Mommy?
You keep on. Listen to me. You keep on, and you finna find out that ain't either one of them your real daddy.
She's only 8, Steve.
Well, you're gonna need therapy playing with me is what you're gonna need.
I heard so much noise, and you were hollering, Mommy.
Yeah, and stop calling me that, because I ain't your real mama. Now, get in the car. See, I'm gonna put something else on that 8-year-old head. I'm gonna twist their little brain up so bad. We ain't gonna be talking about the closet. Mama, what you mean you ain't my mama? I ain't your mama, and them ain't your daddies. Now let's get in the car and go to school.
Well, maybe not the baby's
you
fault.
have a quandary, lady, because you did something in front of the child. Kids nowadays are not stupid.
They are not.
They are overexposed to everything.
Everything. That's right.
Every single thing. So know that, be aware, make the adjustments. And now all you can do, and you raised this little girl, so you know she's outspoken, and you know she gonna ask again.
One more question.
Because, Mommy, you never cleared this up.
Yeah, one more question. Why were your clothes all wrinkled and stuff?
Why was my clothes wrinkled up?
Yeah.
Because I went to the bathroom, and they didn't have no toilet tissue, and I was thinking about using my blouse, but I found the toilet tissue.
Really? Really?
Don't ask me nothing else. I say stuff like that. Go ahead.
And Mommy, what about your hair? It was messed up. It didn't look.
My hair was. You wasn't looking at me when we came in here because you're so busy watching that TV. My hair was messed up when we came in here.
No,
I'm having
Mommy,
a bad hair day.
It was straight on that side.
My hair don't be straight on that side. That's my other wig.
You've traumatized this poor child.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the baby.
And not all that you think is your mama hair, them is wigs.
You gonna tell her dad. Post your comments on today's Strawberry Letter at Steve Harvey FM on Instagram and Facebook, and check out the Strawberry Letter podcast on the free iHeart Radio app. Free never sounded so good. You can
Santa Claus don't come to Nosy Kids' house.
Coming up at 46 minutes after the hour, we got Junior and Sports Talk right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
This is an iHeart podcast.